Were you up late last night? Well, if you were, then maybe you heard some of the gory details, I suppose. The idea was that, coming into last night, I suppose, let's see here, you would have the Predators, Peter Laviolette basically didn't come right out and do it, but he guaranteed, see, I said he didn't come out right and do it, now I say he guarantees. Okay, I'm very wise. He strongly indicated that it wasn't a big deal to go on the road for a must-win Game 6 in Dallas.
Regular season scenarios that the core of this group has been through together, so they're battle tested and they're ready for an opportunity like this. Now we load the plane and we got to go out there and we got to deliver that.
All right, as you can see, that's not necessarily a guarantee, but he was, basically that was not also a man who appeared to be, too nervous about all the situations that would go about, right? And as I said, I truly believe that Pekka Rinne really performed 49 saves. What can you say? I think that he proved himself as the goalie for not just next year, but maybe throughout the rest of his contract. Okay, but it didn't turn out that way. Here's the call.
Second again. That's for Radulov. Radulov in front. Clipper. John Clipper says, meet me in St. Louis.
And so, John Klingberg, despite the fact the Stars won 4 fewer games than the Predators did this season, Klingberg puts the Stars into the second round of the NHL playoffs. And boy, Predators fans, there's becoming an argument here now for Predators fans. I can't give you a reason now to watch the regular season. And I really can't. You're the 8th seed, you play for the Stanley Cup final. You win the President's Trophy, you get eliminated in the second round. You win the division, you get eliminated in the first round. What in the world? Why? And I know hockey playoffs, in the days of the original 4 teams made it in. But it's a flaw of the sport. And, we can get so much more revenue if we have, these playoffs that go on. And you know what you see? It's like what happens in baseball. Look at all the empty seats. Or, I keep hearing it again. I've told you, hey, last year, 5th game Stanley Cup playoffs, the one where the Caps clinched, that actually outdrew the NBA All-Star game this year. Well, maybe that's saying something, maybe it isn't. But you keep hearing, hockey doesn't get any ratings. You'll get women's lacrosse on whatever, and they'll do better in ratings than the NHL. You keep hearing that. Despite the fact the NHL sells, it used to be I think it still is, that they had the highest percentage of tickets sold at their arenas and such. You would hear that all the time. Anyway, and I'll even give you this. In a lot of cities, the NHL team is more popular than the ABA team. I believe the reason why the NHL isn't in Atlanta anymore is because when the Thrashers first started, they consistently, for the first 7 years of their existence, outdrew the Hawks. And so the Hawks owners bought the Thrashers. And they didn't do anything for them. Hey, why should we? Protect the mothership. So they allowed the Thrashers to languish. As time goes by, a franchise gets to be more valuable. They sell it to an interest that'll take it out of town. Oh, the Hawks now are that much more viable in Atlanta. Thrashers have made a pretty profit for their owners after the sale and taking them out of town. It's one of the reasons I tell you why one ownership, a league owning two teams, all the franchises in a pro sports league doesn't work. It never has worked. Look at the AAF. Well, look at this. Owner owning two teams in the same city, they can actually, if you're buying a ticket to the Thrashers game that week, are you really going to have enough money left to buy a ticket to the Hawks or even the Time? How can we make money and make our original investment more viable? See? And that's when own a cross ownership in two leagues. Think about that, you look at the Buccaneers and their owner, owns both, Manchester United and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You think that the Manchester United might just be a little more profitable, and that's where he puts his resources into. And that's why the Bucs languish. Think about it. So, anyway, and that's not even the league owning all the teams. That's having an owner who owns a lot of teams. Who's the guy, forgive me, I'm not coming up with names right now, but there was one man who owned all the sports franchises in South Florida. And he bought the Marlins. And he lost $20 million winning the World Series. And he said, enough of this, I'm tanking the team. Yeah. I mean, I can be a good guy by winning with the Dolphins, and now, so he owned Blockbuster. So that was back in the day, huh? There once was a Blockbuster Bowl, but I won't get into that. Anyway, Ben Bishop, here he is. He's going to talk about eliminating the Nashville Predators after Game 6. He's the Stars goalie, if you didn't know.
I think since, pretty much Game 1, we've almost played them every game, maybe Game 2, but we've really gone to them every single game, and you can tell we really wanted it. So I'm just happy we don't have to get on plane tomorrow, and we'll get a little bit of rest before we head to St. Louis.
You think? Watson came back after his tumultuous season, scored the first goal of the game for the Preds. After that, no more goals. What was the mindset of Ben Bishop going into OT instead of Pekka Rinne, who I'm not going to pin this loss on, but still, what was the winning goalie's mindset? What was the winning goalie's mindset? Evidently, we will never know what the winning goalie's mindset was. Okay, so he had a specific mindset that he was quoted upon and wanted to talk about it, but unfortunately the world's slowest computer is not necessarily compliant. So, do we have this again? Let me try this again. All right, as I know everybody's, they've got, what was Ben Bishop's mindset going into overtime?
Just stay relaxed. Obviously they got the one up there. Just stay relaxed and kind of, let's go out and win this thing.
Now, I mentioned Predators fans have got to feel like, why did we play the regular season? Again, I'm not a big fan of big, expanded playoffs. I do love hockey. I've loved it. And it's always been 16 teams. But if anything, the hockey playoffs have actually, with expansion, become more exclusive than inclusive. But, yeah, they, back in the 80s, tried to make, upset-proof playoff appearances. The President's Trophy winner, there wasn't a President's Trophy back then, but the best team wouldn't always be eliminated by the fourth-place team, and they could still make the revenue of extra playoff games. So they expanded the first round from 5 games to 7. What difference did it make if the Stanley Cup was going to be decided around Memorial Day instead of the middle of May? Come on now, really, what difference was it going to make? All right, maybe not a whole lot. But the situation came out now where we then have made it 1 through 8. There wasn't enough identity. There was the feeling that it was as good to finish in 8th place as there was in first place. The idea of the current playoff system, which I believe is going to come back, or at least that is the plan as we speak right now, next year, in which the division champs all go, obviously, the second and third place teams in every division go, and then to avoid the situations, let's say, that Mario Lemieux experienced in his early years, where he might have the 12th best team that he had piloted, but they didn't make the playoffs because the first 4 teams in your division made the playoffs, no matter what the records were of other teams. So what they do is they have wild cards, and that's what the Stars made. They have 2 wild cards in every conference. And so, yeah, it's going to be Stars Blues now, all right? All right, St. Louis, Dallas. It sounds like the old NFC East, right? That goes. I'm really making too many historical references here, but regardless. Yeah, it'll be a rematch of the 2011 World Series. That's a little more contemporary, only in hockey. So anyway, what we're talking about here is that this hasn't prevented upsets. Right now, there have been, in the 8 playoff series, in the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs, 5 have been completed, and in 4 of them, the lower-seeded team has won. Say what you will, but it's one thing for the underdogs, for the meek to inherit the earth. Yeah, I get that. But it's another one, the Tampa Bay Lightning, who win 62 games to tie the league record, are eliminated 4 straight by the 8th-seeded team. That has the appearance that the Lightning weren't so good, that they lost. Not that it was some gritty, wonderful performance by a single skater scoring multiple hat tricks or a goalie who became a brick wall. No, it seems like Lightning got hurt, Lightning played dumb, Lightning got swept. Maybe the best team in hockey wasn't the best team after all. And that, I don't think, is necessarily that healthy for any sport. On the other hand, the NHL go on. Yeah, it's not going to kill the sport. In fact, it just will make it a little bit less interesting. Hey, somebody who's always interesting, Caleb Calhoun of allfortennessee.com. We're going to talk about the Vols after this.